What up, folks? This is Tim in the corner again. I just wanted to come to you guys with another video on some of the current events, current topics you often hear me talk about. Back in the 1980s, there was a musician named Rockwell. One hit wonder, not a lot of people remember, but they probably remember his song because of who was doing the hook. Somebody's watching me. You ever heard of those lyrics? I always feel like somebody's watching me. Those lyrics are done by none other than Michael Jackson, but the lyrics of the song really, has fallen on deaf ears over time. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing up somebody's watching me is because oftentimes they are, particularly in the internet age. The story I'm going to bring you today comes out of Oakley, California. A teaching board. You call and you talk about your students in class and things like that. But nowadays we're doing it on Zoom calls. Used to be PTA meetings. You go to school, you talk to the teachers. I suppose in towns where things are still open, they are doing it. I'm going to turn this just a little bit. They are still doing it. But in this particular town, it was being done on a Zoom call. Oakley's out in California. And after the Zoom call, the educators continued talking about the parents without realizing they were still televising live, and they pretty much let the parents have it. Referred to the parents as they just want schools to open back up so the teachers can go back to babysitting their children. One board member even said, and I'm reading this as a quote, I'm going to look at my screen and read this. Board member Kim Bede, she actually said, "Bitch, if you're going to call me out, I'm going to fuck you up." That's a quote. That is a literal quote. So apparently she was speaking in regards to a parent that probably had some critique or criticism either about the school or maybe even about her directly. But yeah, bitch, if you're going to call me out, I'm going to fuck you up. And that went live. That went out. And some parents actually recorded it and released it, and it looks like the entire board had to resign. Purpose of this video, like I said, somebody's watching me, as Rockwell sang back in the 80s, because nowadays we're doing everything Zoom call. I saw a publication, or might have been a news article that stated that 42% of the jobs that have been lost during the pandemic will not be replaced. And a lot of that is because of remote work. Obviously, automation and things like that, we've simply adapted and found other ways to get things done. And as a result, you don't need certain things. So, yeah, I mean, it's crazy because we're doing things on Zoom and people do not realize that what's on the internet stays on the internet. Here I am making a video. Let's say I say something screwed up, or I say something that I do not want to be tied to me. Maybe I go a different path in the future, and I don't want this video to be tied to me. It's nothing I can do. I don't know who's watching this, who has their phone aimed at the screen, or who's recording it. I'm nobody special. I don't expect that, but that's what happens, which is always when you always hear about these controversial videos. The report often says, well, the video has been taken down. Yeah, it's taken down, but that don't mean everybody don't still see it. It's still out there. So once something is on the internet, it's there permanently. So purpose of this video is just to pay attention to what you do online. I do some crazy stuff online sometimes too, but I try to keep it to the point where it's not going to destroy whatever hell endeavor I may take upon in the future, if there is such a thing. But yeah, this one was kind of funny, but the entire school board ultimately resigned because obviously the outrage was crazy. You got parents that are saying, I thought the school board was advocating for us and the children. And, now you're hearing them, they're talking about parents smoking marijuana, and they're talking about parents who are bad parents. And I think they may even talked about parents that did not deserve to have their children. So if you're a parent and you're listening to somebody you were just talking to actually speaking their true mind about you in a manner that they think is behind closed doors, or not, or being candid, and you hear this. So what would you do, by the way? I just kind of wondering, you can put this one in the comments. Would you actually call that board member if somebody called you out? Let's say something derogatory was stated about you, and you happen to bump into them at a Ralph's or a Kroger or some, grocery store that's in your area, because you bump into teachers and educators all the time. They're regular people. They live life just like we do. You bump into one of them out in public, and they've said something crazy, such as what Kim Beat said about she's going to F you up, would you actually address that, or would you be happy with them being, with them resigning or whatever the case may be? Now, that's not to say they can't resign and go get a nice job somewhere else. So that's not necessarily a punishment. Getting terminated is different, but these people resigned, the entire school board. So how might you react to that? You know they've resigned. You know they're gone. Do you still write letters? Do you still take any action, so to speak? Also, I would love to hear comments of maybe you being caught or someone in your life being caught doing something similar, not necessarily knowing if they were, or not knowing that they were still being recorded or still being videotaped, thinking they're doing something, off camera or whatever, and not realizing that the individual you're talking about is still watching you as you're discussing it. So just one interesting one I want to run that by you. Just always pay attention to what you're doing online, because what you do online is forever. Got Joe Biden as president, and right now they're bringing up stuff that man did 20, 30 years ago before the internet was invented. So you can only imagine how many people are being destroyed now that any of us, as you see me, can be online, televising to a worldwide audience. Take care, folks. We'll talk next time.